We'll stand for a moment of silence. First, we would like to, I'm sure you all know that Jim Phillips passed away. Jim is a freeholder, a senator, a mayor, and of course treasurer for many years for Middlesex County. Also, Victor Leo passed away, who was from Piscataway, and he was on the tax board for many, many years. And also, you probably noticed that I'm not Ron. And if you could keep Ron in your thoughts and prayers, he's nothing serious. He had some knee surgery, and he'll be back real soon. So if we could just think about these people, I'd appreciate it. Dennis, salute to the flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Thank you, Margaret. We'll have roll call.
Freeholder Armwood.
Here.
Freeholder Kenny.
Here.
Freeholder Polos. Freeholder Tamaro.
Here.
Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Rios is absent. Freeholder Deputy Director Barrett Palante.
Here. Margaret, we have any correspondence?
Each freeholder has been provided with a list of correspondence received by the clerk's office since our last meeting. This correspondence will be kept on file in the office of the clerk of the board for reference.
We have a motion to accept correspondence. So moved.
Second.
Moved by Freeholder Valenti and seconded by Freeholder Tamaro. Voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We'll have minutes of the regular meeting, January 16th, 2014. Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Freeholder Valenti, second by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood.
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny.
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro.
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti.
Yes.
Freeholder Deputy Director Barrett Palante.
Yes. And we'll have reports of the freeholders. Freeholder Armwood.
Thank you, Freeholder Deputy Director. Kamani Isaac, theater student of the Middlesex County Vocational and Technical Schools School of the Arts in East Brunswick, has won the McCarter Theater Costume Design Contest. A sophomore from North Brunswick, she entered a contest sponsored by McCarter Theater in Princeton in connection with its production of Fences by August Wilson. Kamani had to draw a design for a character and a specific scene in the play, and she chose Rose, the leading female character of the Pulitzer Prize-winning play. As part of her prize, Kamani and her parents were invited to opening night and to a reception afterwards with the cast, director Felicia Rashad and Emilio Sosa, the costume design for the production. The entries are on display in the McCarter lobby for the run of the play. The Middlesex County Vocational and Technical School District, the first county vocational school district in the nation, has 7 schools on 5 campuses in East Brunswick, Edison, Piscataway, Perth Amboy, and Woodbridge. The district is marking its centennial in 2014. And that'll be all. Thank you.
Freeholder Kenny.
Thank you, Deputy Director. Just a few items here. One is I'd like to announce that the county has once again been before Standard & Poor's, and we have maintained our AAA bond rating. This is through the hard work of our CFO, Joe Prudy, our business administrator, John Polomina, our deputy director, Carol Barrett Palante. This is, as I said at the last meeting, the work that was done last year. So even though I'm finance chair this year, it's through the hard work that was done over the past year, and they deserve the credit, as well as the rest of the department heads, in working to make it so that we were able to maintain our AAA bonding. This rating is better than that of the state of New Jersey, and it is the highest rating that, it is better than that of the state of New Jersey. Just a couple quotes directly from the report regarding Middlesex County. Strong budgetary performance based on current fund and results. very strong liquidity, given the county's demonstrated access to cash internally and through capital markets based on its frequent GO debt issuance, strong management with good financial policies, and a very strong local economy with additional access to New York City metropolitan statistical area. Our AAA rating means we are in the top 2% of all government entities in the nation. Wall Street recognized our fiscal strength and financial acumen and has assigned Middlesex County its highest rating. Because the rates received were at historic lows, we can make this investment at a lower cost to Middlesex County taxpayers. In other words, we're able to bond at a lower rate, which helps us save money as we go forward. As a reminder, the county budget for 2014 was introduced on January 16th. The next step is to hold a public hearing on February 20th at 7 p.m. And the expectation is to adopt that same night. If for some reason we're not able to adopt the budget that night, we'll be looking at March 6th as the night that we're going to try to adopt. One of the reasons we might not be able to do it that night is the state, am I correct, Joe, has to look over the budget and approve everything. And if they don't have that into us in time, we won't be able to do it the 20th, but we'll have the public hearing. So this way the budget, the people can make comments on the budget. Subsequent to the budget adoption, we'll be certifying the vocational school and county college budgets during a Board of School Estimates meeting to be held on April 3rd at 6:30 p.m. Just one question that I have here, Joe, is regards to the weather that we've been having. Calamities, that's what we used to call it in Woodbridge. I don't know if it's under the same title here at the county, but we've had 8 storms, I believe, since December, 6 this year. I know we're putting a budget together now. Do we have to look at possibly making any changes to the budget to make sure we have enough funds there for calamities such as snow removal and stuff like that?
I don't think so, Freeholders. As a matter of fact, we don't have to. We've had about $1 million budgeted for such events, and we also have a contingency fund for unexpected events such as this.
Okay, so we're good then?
Yes.
All right, very good. Otherwise, I'd recommend we do it now, but I'm glad to hear that. We also went out and did refunding of $35 million in 2006 series bonds, and we were able to save the taxpayers $1.4 million by refinancing these bonds of our old debt, turning it into cheaper current debt. And once again, I have been learning that as a routine. Every year the county goes and does this. They look at the bonds, they look at the market, they see if there's an opportunity to save money, and that's money that we're able to either put into other parts of the budget or as a savings to the taxpayers of the county. So I thank you very much for that. Just a couple other items that I have is there's an audit for the medical examiner in our resolutions for tonight. That is an audit for energy study. Am I correct? Okay, and that's going to be something that we've been doing throughout the different departments, looking to see if there's ways that we can save money by having these energy studies done. Is that picked up by the state through a grant?
Yes, it's funded by the EPU. The energy audits are fully funded, and then the recommendations that they make, some of them may be eligible for incentives from the state of New Jersey also that offset the cost of those improvements.
Very good. And I know in the past in dealing with these, there's like different levels of, cost to the county on making those corrections where we can save money in the long run. So I thank you very much for having that for a resolution for tonight, and I ask for the rest of the board's support. And that's all I have.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Freeholder. Freeholder Polls.
Thank you, Deputy Director. A couple of items. One, I want to thank the board for their consideration for Resolution 14259, which is asking Public Service Electric and Gas to reprioritize their investment into their infrastructure. This comes as a result of some remarks I made at the last Freeholder meeting expressing concern about the fact that We have had numerous power outages in Highland Park. This past storm, we had power outages in Plainsboro and East Brunswick. Power going out just seems to become more and more of a normal thing occurring in our county, and I'm concerned about the priorities that PSE&G is placing on their investments. We see a lot of great advertisement and promotion about going green and green investment, and as I said at the last meeting, I feel that PSE&G is going more green and we're going more black because we continue to lose power on a regular basis, and those dollars would be better spent, at least in my opinion, and I think with the support of the board, the opinion of this board, investing into the infrastructure that makes sure that we continue to have light when we turn on that switch, power for our generators and our heating system. So again, I thank the board for their consideration of that resolution tonight. There's also another resolution on, and again, I want to thank the board for their support, Resolution 14245. This is something that our Fire Marshal Mike Gallagher, our radio coordinator Al Demko, Public Safety have been working on now for probably more than 3 years. This is a significant improvement in our ability to be able to communicate through our emergency service bureaus, not only within the county, but all of our municipalities, many of whom have made a decision to come onto the county radio system, our 800 megahertz radio system. You've heard that term used before. We have about 2,000 radios on that system within our county. We have several communities who have bought into that system and using our mainframe and infrastructure to be able to communicate with their police, fire, and first aid. It's a great opportunity for them. They save literally millions of dollars not having to buy their own infrastructure and working off of our mainframe of infrastructure here within the county. But in order for us to not only ensure that we have good communication amongst our folks, and most importantly, making sure that those who are now coming onto our system are capable of communicating in all types of situations and in all weather, we needed to make some upgrades. This microwave system will give us very clear communication through all types of weather conditions. It has been proven and tested through Sandy storm. Counties who have had this system in the past had impeccable communication during Superstorm Sandy. We did not. We had breakdowns because of our system, the way that it was set up through telephone lines, T1 lines. Those of you who follow electronics understand what those are. Being dependent on hardwire lines within the ground or up in the air is not the way in this day and age to ensure that you have good communication. Microwave technology gives pinpoint accuracy and pinpoint clarity. It's something that's important for us to ensure that when a police officer is in a building or a firefighter or an EMS person and making that sometimes last-minute call for help, that we're able to hear them. And it's very important, hear him or her. So it's very important that we make sure that we have the best technology out there. It's nearly $1 million investment, but dollars well spent to ensure that we will have the right level of public safety for our public safety people who we depend on each day. And again, I want to thank those involved in helping put that together. I want to also thank Tactical Radio, who's really been helping us through that process. They are our main radio provider. Will be helping us with that installation as well. They've been doing a great job giving us the backup and support, so I want to thank the board for that. Those of you may remember that we had Super Bowl not too long ago, and I don't know, do we have a photo, Joe? Oh, no, we do. Freeholder, Deputy Director, I got a great phone call from John Ferguson a few weeks ago who said, Freeholder, as our Chairman of Public Safety and Health, would you like to go to the Super Bowl? I got all excited. I was ready to go out and buy my jersey. And then he told me that we were all going up together, and I said, that's great. How many seats do we have? And he said, well, we're going to be in the parking lot. I wasn't sure what that meant. But what he actually told me was that we had no entree into the actual stadium, into MetLife Stadium, but that we had been requested by the New Jersey State Police and Department of Homeland Security to utilize our staff, our hazmat people, our Medical Reserve Corps, our Radiological Volunteer Corps, to set up a radiological community reception center within the parking area. Those of you who can't see well might think that that's Russell Wilson, third from the left, but it's not. That's not the quarterback from the Seahawks. It's actually just all of our staff who are volunteering. These people are not only our paid staff, but volunteers through emergency management. They were there for probably 14 or 16 hours that day. They got there very early in the morning, went through all the security checks, were not allowed to leave the premises, and provided the reception center in the event that it was needed for any type of a radiological contamination or decontamination issue that occurred at the facility. I'm sure you know the high level of security that went on at Super Bowl. I think it was great that our county was really at the forefront of that. Our Emergency Operations Center was activated for 2 days
and really became kind of one of the main backup EOCs for the entire operation. And I think our staff did a really wonderful job. I was disappointed that we weren't allowed to go into the stadium. I'm sure they were too, but I want to thank them for the great job that they did. That's our decon center. We had actually had that set up for a training scenario about a year ago. I think some of the freeholders came to it when we had it set up. But it was pretty impressive to see Middlesex County really in such a prominent location with all of our equipment, which was paid for by Homeland Security dollars and federal dollars that came to us through, again, the Department of Homeland Security. This is not county dollars spent on this equipment. And the reason we receive that is because we have been designated a UASI, an urban, what's UASI again? I'm sorry, Mike, urban area security initiative. My God, first the mind goes. As a UASI designated county, we receive special funding through the Department of Homeland Security to be able to create a regional response in large issues or large responses for emergencies that can happen in New Jersey. This is the reason why we have this equipment. Not every county has this equipment, but we are activated for events like this or any other type of emergency that might happen in the state. So Middlesex County was on the map during the Super Bowl, and I think they did a yeoman's job, so thank you very much. Thank you, Deputy Director.
I missed something. Where were you in that picture?
I wasn't in that picture.
You weren't there?
I was not there. No.
Oh, well, all right. I'm just checking. Thank you, Freeholder.
Thank you.
Freeholder Tamara.
Yes, Jim, you didn't miss much of a game either. So the best part of the game was seeing Beatle Paul McCartney with his wife Nancy Chevelle from Edison. My Freeholder colleague Kenny mentioned about the severity of our 8 storms that we've had this year, 2 this past week, and about the costs and everything, and and how much it costs us as taxpayers. But it doesn't. The roads don't get cleaned by themselves. It's from our director, Ralph Albanier, our road supervisor, Dave Campion, and all the workers. From the people who run the plows, who load the dump trucks with the salt, the mechanics who fix the trucks and fix the plows, to the people working in the office answering the calls. They've done an yeoman's job. Yeah, are there complaints? Yeah, we always get complaints. But I've only gotten 3, and they've all been taken care of. So I want to thank them for all the hard work that they do. Keep it up, because hopefully we don't get any more storms like we've had. I know they were promising one for Sunday, but now they're backing off of it. Thank God. Spring is only a couple months away, but let's get through these next couple months. But if you like the snow, we do have some activities for you to enjoy the snow in. We have a couple great parks that you can sleigh ride in, do some snowshoeing in, cross-country skiing, and winter hiking. The best park is our Thompson Park. We used to have a ski area there in Grove 4, so it's a nice hill. It's a little bit of a climb once you go down, but going down is a lot of fun. And it's a great way to exercise, too. Our other park to sleigh on is Donaldson Park. It's in Highland Park. It's at the end of South 2nd Avenue. And for those cross-country skiers who don't like going to the mountain and paying that money, you can have unique experiences at 4 scenic areas in our county. The first one is at the Farm Road Trail in Davison Mill Pond Park, and they're open fields in Heathcote Meadows Preserve, both located in South Brunswick. The Middlesex Greenway provides a tranquil tour through Fords, Edison, and Metuchen. And once you go down the Route 1 bridge, especially if you're on skis, you'll be like you're on a ski jump. So you better go plowing down that one. And Thompson Park, Monroe opens flat open soccer fields with a lot of extensive views. For snowshoeing and winter hiking, there are 3 perfect trails. The Thompson Park Conservation Area in Monroe has Gravel Hill Trail, Tamarack Hollow Preserve in East Brunswick, and 2 miles of trails. And the Farrington Lake Trail is favored, connecting Davison Mill Pond Road to Ireland Park Conservation Area. The trail follows the shoreline of Farrington Lake and the Lawrence Park Brook and offers spectacular views of the lake and unique rock formations found nowhere else in the county. And if you want some information, we have maps and directions, and they're available by calling 732-745-8278, or you can go on our website and in the park section and take a hike. section if you want to find out where those trails are. I also like to mention we still are taking applications for our Youth Conservation Corps. It's now forming for the spring seasons, and applications are coming in fast. The cutoff is February 14th, and they will begin on Saturdays, April 5th, and run through June 14th. This spring, they will be concentrating on finishing Scott's Corner Conservation Area in South Brunswick. By the end of the summer, this area will feature a bird blind for wildlife observation. They will also be concentrating on improving all habitats by cleaning invasive species. On April 26th, the crew, along with the Clean Ocean Action, will do a beach sweep on Old Bridge Waterfront Park, and there will be a volunteer project on May 10th for the International Migratory Bird Day. A complete job description for Conservation Corps can be found at the Middlesex County Office of Parks and Recreation website. You can call Scott Myler at 732-745-3064. And they're still accepting applications for a basketball tournament. And as a reminder, the deadline for submitting rosters and payment is due February 21st. The fee is $75, and the games start in early March and played on Mondays to Thursdays, 6:30, 7:30, and 8:30 at night. The tournament will be held at the Middlesex County Vocational School, located at 21 Sutton's Lane in Piscataway. It's limited on a first-come, first-served basis. For more information, contact Aaron Carroll at 732-745-4222. And after our basketball, the county will be once again accepting sponsoring our adult slow pitch league, which will begin late in March 2014. This year, the addition of the annual Sunday afternoon men's league and the Thursday co-ed league, we will have an added Tuesday men's league. The deadline for entering team is Friday, March 7th, 2014, with the final team roster due no later than April 25th. League fees and field location and rules can be accessed at the county website. Or you can contact Aaron Carroll at 732-745-4222. The games are played at Thomas Edison Park in Edison or Warren Park in Woodbridge. There may also be a few games played at Raritan Bay Waterfront Park in South Amboy. Thank you.
Thank you, Freeholder. Freeholder Valenti.
Thank you, Deputy Director. From the Department of Community Services, we have a report from McFoods. For those of you who are not quite sure what that stands for, it's the Middlesex County Food Organization and Outreach Distribution Services, which is in care of the MCIA. They just issued their 2013 year-end report summarizing the tremendous work they did coordinating the collection and distribution of food for hungry people throughout Middlesex County. In 2013, McFoods received and distributed 529 tons of non-perishable foods and necessities. This was a significant increase over the 434 tons collected during 2012. A key to the success are the many partnerships it has with individuals, groups, and organizations throughout the county who conduct food drives and donate money, gift cards, and time. And I really want to thank everyone for these efforts, especially the coordinator, Jennifer Apostle, who does an outstanding job, and encourage them to continue their service throughout the year so that we can continue to help family members, neighbors, and co-workers who receive food through McFoods. I also want to thank all the agencies and the volunteers that assisted in the annual point-in-time count held on January 29th. For those of you who may not be familiar with it, it is a statewide initiative that takes a snapshot of the number of homeless people in our communities. Surveys were conducted countywide in 3 locations: Salvation Army of Perth Amboy, the Woodbridge Housing Authority, and Elijah's Promise in New Brunswick served as Project Homeless Connect sites where individuals have the opportunity to meet with personnel from various agencies, get haircuts, receive coats, gloves, and other clothing, eat a hot meal, and complete the survey. In the evening, teams of volunteers went out from each Project Homeless Connect site to conduct street outreach. The information gathered through the point-in-time study will help our Middlesex County Office of Human Services and all its partners to offer services and supports to county residents that don't have any permanent housing. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Freeholder Valenti. The clerk of the board's office is in the process of updating the county directory. The guide lists contact information for county officials and departments, the agencies and committees. The book includes contact information for key people within every municipality. And thank you for your hard work on doing that every year.
Our pleasure.
The Middlesex County Office of Information Technology is deploying a high-speed wireless private network to establish connectivity between the data center located in the county administration building and various county satellite offices. This deployment fulfills our mission to use the latest technology to increase efficiency and reduce operating expenses. It also enables the start of new technology, such as GIS, across the various offices in the county without duplication of hardware or software licenses. Later this year, we will debut an incredibly robust and easy-to-use county website so that our residents and the people doing business in or with the county will have the tools they need county will have tools they need at the click of a mouse. Both of these products will help Middlesex County be more accessible and more efficient. The county's intranet debuted in November. The interactive website is a valuable communications tool for our entire workforce. It keeps employees abreast of policy and procedure changes, upcoming events, and also provides them to resources to help complete their daily tasks more efficiently and effectively. The intranet serves as a first step in our overall online strategy. I'd like to call your attention to Resolution Number 14138 on tonight's agenda, which opposes the privatization of toll collection services on the New Jersey Turnpike and the Garden State Parkway. At a time when the state's unemployment rate is at 7.8% and their poverty rate is at an all-time high, it goes against all reason to privatize toll workers' jobs, middle-class workers, jobs that help our families afford the high cost of living in this state. Firing these workers would not only put more of a burden on the public, increasing jobless claims, the need for social services, and the need for public assistance. It will also result in more home foreclosures. This is a major step backward. Privatizing also negatively impacts the interest of taxpayers. There is a lack of accountability to the public because private companies do not fall under the Open Publics Record Act. And there is no state agency that monitors privatization. Why am I having trouble with that tonight? Contracts. I urge my fellow freeholders to support Resolution 14138 and to oppose the privatization of good-paying, union-protected jobs. It's what's right for our workers, and it is what is right for our taxpayers. Thank you. That's my report. Mr. Kelso, are there any changes to the agenda?
Yes, Deputy Director, we have one change, and that is Resolution 14-251, as per vote at the agenda meeting at 6 o'clock, is to be voided. No further vote is necessary on that.
Thank you very much. I'll have open public discussion on resolutions listed on this agenda only. Yes, Mr. Stewart?
Richard Stewart, New Brunswick. I am not concerned with any particular one, but I'm concerned with a number of them. The agenda tonight brought to mind something that I hadn't thought about before, these special elections. When I'm looking at the additional money for voting ballots, for mailing, for all of the expenses, voter slips, all of those things that I hadn't even thought about, but they all added to the cost. Is anyone in a position to take a look at what the special elections cost the county?
Mr. Kelso?
I'm sure it can be, it certainly can be identified. I don't think we have that information available this evening.
We can get that information for you.
Yeah.
Within the next couple of days.
Yeah, fine.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart. Is there anyone else? Yes.
Good evening, Freeholders. My name is Kevin McCarthy. I'm the new president of IFPT Local 194. We represent the workers on the New Jersey Turnpike, all tolls, maintenance, technical, office workers. And I would really appreciate, our members would really appreciate your support on our resolution. This is our second round of privatization attempts. Last time these people took significant pay cuts. A lot of them have sacrificed at the expense of family time to acclimate the pay cuts that they've taken. Now this time around, in round two, if this does go through, and hopefully with everybody behind it, it won't, every scenario of our toll collectors turns out to be foreclosure, and a lot of them are new part-timers, mostly are college students or people working a second job to try to make ends meet in these tough times. So we would really appreciate, your support on the resolution, and the people of New Jersey to get, behind it, because the Open Records Act would definitely come into play, and there would be no way of actually being able to find out indeed what is going on, And after the debacle up at the Port Authority at the George Washington Bridge, we all know that that is very crucial to both, the motoring public safety in the local areas, and not to mention probably the confrontations that were going on with our union brothers and sisters at the Port Authority. But there again, I thank you very much, hopefully, for your support, and God bless.
Thank you so much. Is there anyone else wishing to speak?
I'll move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Freeholder Tamaro, seconded by Freeholder Valenti. Voice vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Kels, are the items to be removed
Right.
separately? Are there any?
Yeah, I have one, Deputy Director. It's 14-158.
5-8.
That's it.
Does anyone else have anything? Well, that's it. Mr. Kelso?
Yes, Deputy Director, a motion would then be in order to adopt the consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 14-138 through resolution 14-259, excluding resolution 14-251 to be voided, and resolution 14-158 to be voted upon separately.
Thank you. Roll call.
Motion.
A motion?
Motion.
Second.
Motion made by Freeholder Valenti, second by Freeholder Tamaro. Roll call.
Freeholder Armwood,
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Deputy Director Barrett Palante.
A very loud yes.
Now it would be appropriate to consider Resolution 14-158, which was excluded by Freeholder Tamaro.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second by, motion by Freeholder Valenti, second by Freeholder Armwood.
Freeholder Armwood,
Yes.
Freeholder Kenny,
Yes.
Freeholder Polos,
Yes.
Freeholder Tamaro,
Yeah, President not voting.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Deputy Director Barrett Palante.
Caught myself.
Yes. That's what happens when we have two meetings in the same night. I'm open to the public. Is there anyone in the public that wishes to speak at this time? Mr. Stewart.
I would like to say that I wish I wasn't going to have to say this, but I tried to speak to our county council on something, and I was told by his secretaries that he doesn't talk to the public. What concerns me is that a number of things have been going on in the public area that seem to deal with who is telling the truth. Now, a year or two back here, we approved, and I supported it. I was happy to send one of the investigators from the county prosecutor's office to school for polygraph. I am now more convinced than ever that that was a waste of money. We might as well have sent somebody for a course in astrology or basket weaving, because I drew a blank when I talked to the public spokesman for the prosecutor's office. They couldn't say anything. I was trying to find out what is the status of polygraph now, because it seems to me, with all of these statements being made publicly, if there was any validity to the polygraph, this would be a wonderful time to put it into use. Incidentally, a few years ago here, I had two law enforcement people come to my apartment door, and I was taken out of my apartment in handcuffs and taken up to the North Brunswick, where I was arraigned, and I spent one night in the county jail. I would have spent more time there if I hadn't been thinking real fast, because the people at the county jail took my money away, and then I was told that I couldn't call out because the numbers that I wanted to call were all cell phone, and you can't make a collect call to a cell phone. I found out that night. But the next day, some of my people were able to track me down and find out where I was. Then I found out that you can't be bailed out by one person. You have to have two people to bail you out. And it's a cash bail. And in due course, to shorten the story, in due course, the charge was dismissed because the person in DIFAS who brought the charge didn't show up twice, and Judge Casey dismissed the thing, but that didn't give my $500 back, because that isn't part of the New Jersey Nazi court system. But I wanted to say that we need to look at that whole system yet, because there's something wrong there. I don't know what the solution is, but it certainly is not. It's not working right, and it is not fair to the people like myself. The people, they had to get two people to bail me out, which they did. But when after I got out, then it still was hanging over my head. And then finally, when it's dismissed, I did not get my $500 back. That was just lost money. It shouldn't happen to anybody, but it did, and I don't know what has been done to correct that so that it doesn't happen again to somebody else. I hope that you may check. I think that the county council should be able to speak on something that involves. I was trying to find out who the investigator was that we sent to school, but I could never find that out. So, as I say, as far as I'm concerned, if you ever come up with another resolution, I will certainly oppose it.
Thank you, Mr. Stewart.
If I just might comment to Mr. Stewart. Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
To answer your question, polygraphs are certainly still a useful tool that are used by the prosecutor's office and defense counsel. They're not definitive one way or the other, but they are used certainly in the discretion, particularly of the prosecutor's office, to determine whether or not to prosecute or whether or not a witness's statements are useful. And many times in defense counsels can provide them to persuade a prosecutor to not prosecute. I would also say it would be helpful to put a polygraph on you to determine if that's actually what my office said to you, because that is not what they said to you yesterday. What they said to you is...
How do you know? You weren't there.
Because they told... Yes, I was. I was in a meeting and they told you that I couldn't speak to you then, and you were insistent.
They did not say that. If that's what they told you...
Mr. Stewart,
Polygraph.
Mr. Stewart, I would suggest in the future that when you want to go to speak to Mr. Kelso, that you call and make an appointment. It would probably be easier on everyone.
We do speak to each other many times.
Thank you.
If you get a chance to replace him, do it.
I'll take that under advisement. Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public that wishes to speak?
Move to close the public portion.
Second.
Motion to close by Freeholder Tamaro, second by Freeholder Valenti. All those in favor? I guess we have a voice vote?
Yes. Yes.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion to adjourn? Who made it? That's it?
So moved.
Second? Motion by Freeholder Armwood, second by Freeholder Valenti. All those in favor? Aye.
This meeting's
Meeting adjourned.